Welcome to episode 8 of the All for Our City podcast. Go check out episode 7 if you have not yet. In this episode, I will be talking about Reno's game against Austin, this weekend's match in Fresno, and the Nevada Coyotes finally getting to play. So, some news for this YouTube channel. I've started a new pregame podcast. That show is called 1868 Now. The first episode was streamed before the game on Saturday. More information about that can be found on my blog in the link below. Other videos I did for the game include the All for Our City video. The live post-game and promo video can all be found on this YouTube channel. I have also released a promo for the upcoming Fresno match that is out now. I also released a new blog post about what's going on this channel. With me now creating similar content in now 2 podcasts and a post-game blog, I don't want it to get repetitive. Some of it will, and that's just how it is when you're doing a lot of content on the same subject. But I will be making each series unique enough to stand on its own. Moving on to 1868 news. First off, Brian Brown got the USL Player of the Week honors. Congratulations to him on that. I don't think that will be the last time he receives this honor, especially if he continues to play the way that he has been. More news with Brian Brown. He got called up to the Jamaican national team. I don't know if he will be a starter or even see any game time. That's just because I'm unfamiliar with the team. I don't know how good the players are on the team. But it's still the highest level of play in soccer. It also gives me a reason to watch the Jamaican national team where I might not have paid attention to them before. Another player from our team who also got called up to a national team was JT. He got called up to the US U23 team. Getting the call up for him shows what potential people see in him. I think in the future he might end up as a starter on an MLS team and have a spot on the national team. That, of course, would be amazing, but that is, at this point, a ways off. I think both JT and Brian Brown have the opportunities now to show that they are capable of being impact players at the international level. If they do show that and do impress at that level, then they might not be with Reno for long. More news. Reno announced 2 new signings. The first is midfielder Sergio Ramirez. He was the 26th pick in the 2019 MLS draft. He was drafted by San Jose, and I really think unless he comes in and plays as an impact player right out the gate, it pretty much proves my point about the MLS draft being useless. I mean, him coming to Reno, that should say something about the draft. Drafted players shouldn't immediately start off in Division II. In other sports, they rarely do start off in Division II. But I talked about the MLS draft extensively in a previous episode, so I'm not going to get into that. But that's not to say that we don't welcome him to the team. He was definitely a productive player in college. We will see if that translates into pro. The other signing is Nathan Anu. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure, whatever. He is another good college player. Both of these signings played on the same team in college, so they already have some experience playing together. It will be interesting to see how these signings work out for Reno. Although I have not seen anything official, both signings are coming from San Jose, I believe. Either way, they are going to start their pro careers in Reno. It's always cool to watch guys when they first start their pro career. Moving on to what's going on the pitch. What happened Saturday? Well, Reno took on Austin. It's the first time that the 2 teams have ever played against each other. It was also the return of Diego Restrepo to Reno. And both teams were looking for their first win of 2019. I found out that Austin plays a style of soccer that I hate. They scored less than 15 minutes into the match. Then they slowed the game down as much as they could. They started dropping like flies. They were in no rush to move the ball at all. If this is their game plan moving forward, it sucks. It's a strategy we see in all sports, It's really simple too. Once they're up, they do their best to slow down the game. More times than not, this doesn't work out because the team starts to play not to lose instead of playing to win. But I could see this being a specific strategy against Reno. I could see Austin thinking that they might only get one goal in the game. So when they did get that goal, trying to maintain possession so Reno can't score isn't a bad idea. But the way they did it, in my opinion, is wrong. Firstly, they started doing it way too early in the game. Secondly, having players go down every time Reno challenged for the ball to take playing time out of the game is unsportsmanlike. And most of the time it resulted in a set piece for Reno, so it wasn't generally a good idea. Reno built a lot of momentum towards the end of the first half. Reno subbed some guys in to get some fresh legs to start the second half. I think that helped keep the momentum going from the first half. Reno scored about a minute into the second half. The goal was scored by Brian Brown. Brown was able to get behind the defenders without going off sides. The keeper didn't come out and challenge Brown. He pretty much didn't move, which meant that he was out of position because it put him in a position where he was in no position to block the ball, which made it a pretty easy shot for Brown to put in the net. The second goal by Reno was amazing. 3 touches roughly, and it was in the back of the net. Brian Brown also scored on that one. The keeper, Diego Restrepo, came out of the net to challenge Brown for the ball, which Brown did not have possession of at that time. 2 things happened. Well, yeah, the keeper didn't challenge enough. He didn't even get his hands on the ball. He also second-guessed himself right before Brown got the ball. Yeah, secondly, doing that put him out of position, which made it easy to put the ball. Yeah, which made it easy to put the ball around him and put it in the net with a single touch. Austin didn't really have anything going for them in the second half. After Reno's second goal, they wasted every scoring opportunity and chance they might have had in the rest of the game. I'm glad, though, that Reno got the win. Getting the first win of the season is good. It takes pressure off the team to get that win once they have that win. Winning after you've gotten the first win of the season becomes a lot easier, in my opinion and in my experience. The team has momentum going into this weekend's game in Fresno, I think. And the team did get a win before they had to travel, which is always nice because it's harder to win that first game, I think, on the road. Looking at this weekend's match in Fresno, it's the first away game. It's our first road trip. It's looking like it'll be a fun weekend. Fresno beat RGV last weekend, and they drew their first match with New Mexico United, which doesn't tell us a whole lot. This will be Fresno's home opener, which I think will motivate the players on Fresno to put on a good show for their fans. From what I've been looking at and things like that, Fresno is a more aggressive team. Not really in the sense that they put a lot of pressure on you, but more in the sense that they get a lot of yellow cards. So that's something Reno might have to watch out for, is the physicality of Fresno. Because that could go both ways. That could end up with our guys being injured and, having key guys for us out of the game, or that could end up with Fresno getting red cards and stuff like that. Or they could even bait our guys into getting some cards where there might not have been cards, or they might not have, or shouldn't have been, getting upset. I think Reno has the better offense, but Fresno has the better defense. That's just going off the first 2 weeks' scores. I think Reno can win this one, but they have to do pretty much what they did this weekend. I think building momentum going into the second half will be a key for a win in this game. Then if the offense comes out and attacks early in both halves, early in the first half, early in the second half, I think we will get a victory. Getting into the player of the week, it was tough to decide for me. Going into Saturday, Zach Carroll was the front runner because of his participation in St. Baldrick's. Then he got bonus points for it being his birthday on Saturday. Plus, he had a solid performance in Saturday's match against Austin. But that's when Brian Brown started to enter the picture. He scored both goals on Saturday's match. But after the end of the match, Zach was still the front runner. Then Brown got Player of the Week and a call-up to the Jamaican national team. So he made it really hard this week not to pick him. So Brian Brown is the All for Our City Player of the Week. But honorable mentions go to Zach Carroll for his participation in St. Baldrick's and things that I've talked about previously. Oh yeah, and JT for getting a call-up to the U23 team. In other team news, the Nevada Coyotes finally got to play. They haven't been able to play all year due to traveling conditions. They've missed out on roughly 3 games. Yeah, they opened up the season on the road in Oakland. They won the game 3-2. That win also stretched their regular season winning streak that dates back to December of 2017. So they've won every regular season game dating back to December of 2017, which is insane. Their next game will be in San Francisco against AFC Hearts. Hopefully they can get that win, and hopefully they can continue that win streak all the way through 2019. That's all I have for this episode. Thank you for listening to the All for Our City podcast. For more ways to enjoy related content, head over to zachelectrify.wordpress.com.